at this time here, what we got is Brody was just over here. We were messing around with some stuff and trying to figure out designs and yada yada. I'll spare you all the intricate stuff for the moment. This is my top of my ORI. Right now I am making these ears on either side. So I got a 45 cut into this, and then I'm going to cut this down at 2 1/4 inches all the way across it here, nice and flat. I'm going to weld a washer to the other side. That washer side is this here, so the bolt will go through here. We'll get there. So right now all I'm doing is trying to cut these down. Now I'm trying to blast through this stuff, guys. Step one is I got to figure out how I'm going to cut this perfectly square. Wow. Sometimes I impress myself. Myself, you did good there. You done real good, myself. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. 16th proud. Okay. So, there's one, guys. So what I did, just in case you guys are trying to do this at home, I put the pipe in and I measured from here over 2 1/4. And then I took my square and I rested it up against the vise, right up against the feet here. And the pipe is proud, so the guide rides on it, and it seemed to work out pretty good. I mean, it's sitting there pretty straight. So, yeah. Now, if you have a bandsaw at home, that's obviously going to be your best bet for this. But I do not have a clamp-in bandsaw. And honestly, up until I got that bad boy Milwaukee there, I was going to get one. I do not need one now. This saw is faster, and I like it. I like it a lot. La 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 la. If you do this stuff right, guys, what you're going to do is you make your first cut at a 45, because maybe you're better than I am. I don't know. I can't get the 45. If I do, I got a lot of math. So I put the 45 in there first, and then I'll cut the ends to length. That way I'm not like, okay, this far over, cut here, and yeah. It's easier with wood, not as easy on metal, in my way of doing this. Oh, that's not a marker. Oops. So now we have 4 identical-ish Chinguses here. So now we're gonna do some stuff. Okay, I like the reveal. Okay, so I can show you this. Basically what I'm trying to do, look at that smoke. Smoking. I made something that'll fit inside of it. That's not what you want. What I want is a piece that'll cap over the end of it. So I need to cut this next one a little bigger. But I need that, and then I'm gonna... So here's what we have, guys. Lots of thick quarters, essentially. So they go on top of there, and I get a nice area to weld all the way around it. So I'm going to get these into place. I'm going to square them up on it. And then... So, let's get cruising on that. Say it's not my best work, but I have yet to say it's my best work. That's what I ended up with, guys. I'm not in love with it. I think we're going to use some MIG skills here. So that's basically what we ended up with, a rounded over edge. What I'll do is I'll just grind this and make it look real nice, but I mean, it doesn't look horrible the way it is. I did go over the TIG one again and cleaned it up, because that's kind of not super sexy. But yeah, So got a 1/2 inch drill bit because that's the misalignment spacers are 1/2 inch for the ORIs. Shell, we're gonna toss that in our friend Mr. Zoom Zoom here. Okay. You know, one thing I didn't look at, well, that's gonna be tough. So while we're waiting for that to cool down, guys, we're gonna try and get where the strut's gonna go in here and start fitting that up. So we need a lot more out of that. So if you remember right, this fell into the Amazon cart. I think my wife put it in there for me. Just don't ask her about it and please don't tell her. We're gonna notch away here, little nibbles at a time, until we can get the ORI to fit up in there. Oh, little nibbler, you nibble so good. That's what it's going to look like up in here, guys. So I can come forward a little or it can go there, but that's as high as it's going to get. So that's pretty good. With the eye booster, I made the right choice because if I go back, it's in front of it. As far as down here, the angle's a touch off. So we're a little further back this way on the bracket and then it goes straight. But again, we can move it further back if we need to. I don't know that that's necessary yet. On this side we have a little bit we gotta take out. We're gonna move a wire. AC line could be a problem here. We'll see. Might have to move the AC line, rebend it, something, I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna clearance this up here and then we're just gonna start hacking away at it real quick. So that one's in. We have plenty of room up here. Just cut out a nice little notch for it. So that's where that one's gonna go. Now I'm gonna go clean up these ears now that they're cooled down. We're gonna get those installed on these and then that'll be ready for its arms. And then while I'm waiting for Brody to come back, I'm gonna tackle this little power steering pump issue here. Maybe. There they are. Just like that. Just kind of, and they were done. So it ain't perfect, guys. I don't have a belt sander. I can't make this stuff like perfect, but the tools I got, there we go. And it's plenty strong. I mean, that's 1/4 inch in there, welded to 1/4 inch. So yeah, let's get those bolted to the ORIs or ORIs or however they might say it today. So here's a little update of where we're at. These are the feet that we were just making, so they're at an angle. This is going to come and then legs are going to go down to support off of these. So that's going to be the structure right there, but these are the little wings that we needed. I have plenty of clearance for it. I don't know what the orientation we're going to do is yet. We might even just leave them out like that. I don't know. I also strung a level line and then figured out where the axle is, and my limiting factor on height for how much up travel I can get is right there at the oil filter to the upper third link mount right there. So that little bit of a distance is all I have to work with. So I had 3/4 of an inch till it bottomed out on the filter, and we just dropped it another inch. So this is maximum collapse on these ORIs, ORIs, whatever they're called. because this is a bump stop. The last inch is a bump, so it will eat that up. So you have to keep that in mind, because I can't pull these in there any further. That's collapsed. So I believe I have these so that we can just cut some boards, or sorry, cut some pipes, and then we have legs there. And even on both sides, made sure the truck was level, yada yada, all that good stuff. So those are in. Brody will be here first thing in the morning, and we'll start messing with this. Get these. This shouldn't be too bad. This side's gonna suck a little bit, but it is what it is what we're doing. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna focus on the power steering pump. I'm gonna try about 6 different things on this, hopefully achieve one of them. So I'll come back in just a little bit when I get some ideas going on that. So as of right now, found a bolt, next size down. Got a little bit too much play in this bracket though. So if you look in there, we have quite a bit of play in that hole. I don't want all that movement. That's too much shear. This side here, now that I tapped it, we're right on. But I'm gonna weld up this whole side and then we're gonna re-drill that. Ooh la la, look at that. Yeah, they call it old one hole. Giggity. Alright, so I can't use a transfer punch on the back of this. You can see you can't see through it. So I'm going to show you how to put a mark on that on this side. But first, I really want to paint my nails. So I'm going to get my favorite shade of red. And then I'm going to do these bad girls up real quick. Just kidding. So I'm going to put some paint on the ear. Then I'm going to move this into place, squish it, lift it. So if that worked correctly, now we see where our hole is. Huh? Not bad for a dumb guy, huh? And then we still have plenty of paint to paint our fingernails off camera. Yeah? You know what I'm saying, guys? Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. I'm going to show you guys something very serious here, actually. So, one thing that I learned when I was an electrician is always secure the piece you're drilling into. I've seen too many guys do the 4 square electrical boxes, drill it with a unibit, it spins in their hand, next thing you know their hand's in 2 pieces, and not good. I always secure stuff down to this drill press. I don't ever hold on to it. And right now what that just did, you can see it's pretty fixed into the piece. It ripped it out of 2 different clamps and spun around. But because it was clamps and not my fingers, I still have 5 there. And 1, 2, 3. And this many here. So we're good. But certain things I'll joke around with, guys, and there's certain things I just don't mess around with. And I need my digits, so don't want to lose them. That was your public service announcement for the day. So here it is after we drilled it. Let me show you what it looks like. That's going to be it right there. So our bracket crisis is averted. So I'm going to get this mounted in there, and then we're going to figure out this bolt here. The other crisis is the bolt's gone. Yeah, little bolty. It appears to have bolted. There it is. Found it. Now the other problem was the bolt that goes through the top here. That was also large. So let's see what we can... So sometimes you just have to grunt down and do something you really don't want to do. Especially if you know it's a bad idea and you're like, nah, it's the worst that can happen. So I'm only a touch bigger with this guy than that hole is. This bolt goes in there and has quite a bit of slop. Without reinventing the wheel, if I don't use this bolt, we're going to be in trouble. So my thought is, if I use a burr bit to get that hole started and then mount it to the drill press and then continue with that hole, I can get it away from the body. I'll try and show you guys in a minute what I'm doing as far as that body goes. Oops, why did that just move? I was able to not drill through the side of it. In fact, there's minimal touching. It rubbed the inside. It moved the bolt hole the way that I wanted. This side's not as pretty, because what I did is I took my friend Mr. Carbide burr here and I kind of oblonged it out towards that side a little. And once that was established, I stuck it in the vise and then kind of pushed the drill press down into it. This side's not super thick, but there is a metal piece in there that pushes down on the whole thing. And then this side here, there's plenty, so we're going to be just fine. Now let's see if I need to go even bigger. Please fit. Shit. Shit. Shit on me. Oh no. Fuck me. I split the case. I split the ear right here, guys. I knew better. Well, it's already fucked, so let's drill it more. Fuck it. Damn it, dude. Well, that's the fitment we were looking for. So the force on this squeezes this way. I'm not saying this is a great idea, guys, but I don't really see a reason why I'll have a problem. Now I say that until you guys see me out on the trail and I'm broken down and you're going to come up to me and ask me, hey, was that power steering pump that you said would be fine and you knew it wouldn't be fine, and why are you out here by yourself, bud? Okay, so what I was doing right there is I want to make sure that it doesn't punch through anything. So, I mean, I want to make sure I didn't make it too thin, but I didn't touch that side. A tiny, tiny bit. But there's still the micro bevel there that was there originally, so. And this side too, actually. So, note to self, if you have a Tacoma, the PSC pump is not a bolt-in pump. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to contact Redhead and see if they can rebuild my pump, or if they have another pump. That way I just have one. My pump had nothing wrong with it, but big ones. But it doesn't have the 1600 or 18. This said it had 1850 psi, but then on their website it says 16 something. So I don't know how much fucking power this thing actually has, but it's going in. So this pulley that they sent is much smaller. probably means that it's going to spin a little faster and my belt is no longer going to fit. But I got to put this on there. So what we have, I put 2 washers in over here, and that was able to compensate for everything else. So I got it in there. It'll move like it should now. I don't know. I don't love it, guys. I'm gonna rebuild my pump, get my pump back in this, but the show will go on for now. Show you how you could get a power steering pulley on. So what we have, guys, is a basic power steering set. Now you gotta push the pulley onto it, so something's gotta thread in there. So we gotta find the one that threads in, not that one. Okay, that one threaded in. Then you got this piece, which threads on top of the piece you just threaded into it. Pulley slides on. Now, every pulley's got 2 different sides. This is an important thing to show you guys, if I can. There's a ridge right here on one side and not on the other. The ridge goes facing outwards. The reason for that ridge is when you go to pull it off, the puller has 2 halves and they go around that and pull it off. Without that ridge, might as well just throw it out. This would have been easier to do on the bench, but honestly, guys, I wasn't sure if I was gonna move forward with this or not, so we're doing it this way. So I'm gonna get a wrench for this and a wrench for this. One thing you need to watch out for while you're doing this, guys, is this here will loosen up as you turn it, and you do not want that to happen. So typically, just to get it started, I hold on to the pulley. It's going to be one of those. Never really been a big fan of doing power steering pumps. What I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm holding that pulley so that it doesn't turn while I'm turning the pump. On a factory pump, this will have a stop. So it'll sit flush with your installer and it'll stop. On an aftermarket setup, you need to watch the pulley and make sure they align properly. Otherwise, you'll be eating belts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so I'm gonna double check it, see where we're at here. 'Cause it just stopped. Guys, what's this? It's a hammer. Everything's a hammer. So on this particular truck, this isn't flush, and it is out of room in the back, so keep that in mind. Well, guys, it's been a few days and we're back. So it looks a little different. Notice the bed, the tires, and there's tires up there. Best part, it's not on jack stands anymore. So pulled it outside the other day and flexed it out. So the reason that I didn't film any of this is I'm paying Brody to be here. When I'm paying somebody to be here, I don't want to be interrupting progress that I'm paying for somebody to be here. It's different if he's coming over for the night and just explaining stuff, and guys, I will. I'll get him on here. It's just, we made a serious amount of progress. So as you can see, the truck flexes real good. Very happy with that. It's hitting the front. It hits the front right fender where there's still some meat there. I have to trim by the lights a little more, and then she'll be a flexing monster. Be a little flexy, huh? Project Taco Supreme is feeling a little floppy like a burrito. So let's check out what we got going on. First of all, the ORIs are in. Still don't know if they're ORIs or ORIs. We have the PSC mocked up. I ran into an issue with that. So the PSC has a 8-inch throw on it. All I have with the gearbox on this truck is a 6.5-inch throw. So PSC is sending me a spacer in there so I don't overpower the gearbox. That being said, it's a little bit of a delay. I'm leaving a lot on the table. Like, this is almost full lock. So it's got hydro in its future, guys. There's no way around it. Here's what we came up with for the strut towers. I apologize if the LED is doing weird stuff to this. This was his idea. I didn't like the hoop, and I wanted to do a plate of some sort, but then I realized the plate's a lot of excessive material, kind of dumb, and then Brody, being the genius he is, came up with this little setup. So basically I took a piece of tube, this same tube, actually this isn't the same tube, this is quarter wall tube, and cut it at a 45, welded a 1/4-inch plate to the inside, and then drilled the center, put a bolt through there, and then welded that to part of the hoop where the bend is here. Let's see if I can get you guys a better view of this. So you can see here the tube, and then inside, right there's a tube that goes from edge to edge. Then we got the nice brace going up and over. You can see how nice and level that is. We have the eye booster in here, and it's ready to go. It's plumbed. Then we have down here the ORI's in. We have the steering shaft. We notched it where the steering's going through. That's both sides there. And so steering's all hooked up, engaged, everything like that. I ran into a clearancing issue right there. The bolt, the pitman arm bolt going to the frame. We're going to deal with that. When we flex this thing, nothing rubbed. Everything's good. Everything is good. I'm happy. I ended up with 25.5 inches of ground clearance. That's going to be less because where the transfer case is, I'm going to build a skid plate for it. There's 2 bolts underneath the bed holding it up a little bit, so you can see there's about a 1/4-inch, 1/2-inch gap. That'll drop back down, and then that's going to be solid. Still have a lot of wiring to do. The PSC pump debacle is all taken care of. Brody seems to think that it's going to be okay, that I don't need to do anything about that. I am going to send out my factory Toyota pump still as planned and just have that rebuilt and have it ready to go. That way, if anything happens with this, I'm not stuck hoping and wishing. I also need to know if the stock pump can be built to handle full hydro, because that is 100% the next step in this. Just because of limitation of turning and yada yada. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the radiator back in this thing. I modified the air box to work with this so I can run the factory air box. I'm going to show you guys that. And then we're just going to kind of start putting this stuff back together. And then next step after that, I'm going to do the brake lines. The hard lines are in, but this stuff isn't. I got an idea for the emergency brake cables and how I'm going to do all that. The factory cables will not work. We cannot make those work the way they are. And I do not want to do a line lock, because if I do a line lock, the electric ones have to draw power all the time. And the manual one, got to plumb it up into the cab. And then I'm still relying on never ripping a brake line out or anything else. I really want these factory emergency brakes to work. So I got an idea. That's going to be in a future video. That's a totally different thing all by itself. That's going to be an undertaking. In the bed, I got to put a plate from side to side, do a joint here, do a joint over there, and I'm going to put them in a twist bar, That way they can spread and I can unbolt it when I don't need it. When I'm just driving around town, I do not think I'm going to need it in there. So if I want to take this thing, go to Home Depot, get a couple things, I can still use my truck the way that I used to like to use it. And it's just nicer to take this when I'm going to Home Depot than it is the Dodge. You can see how much stick out we have here. She's definitely a thick chick. I'm trying to think of what I want to do here, guys. The bumper is going to come out to probably about here. And I'm going to have it taper like this at an angle and come into the bed. Bed's getting cut right below the light. So on that line, all the way around, and that's going to get cut. I'm thinking if I come off here with a nice bar that's round and comes up and around, I think that might look kind of cool. I'm also toying with having like a piece of square bar, because it is a square Tacoma. Something that sticks off like a fender or something, like, you know, cool. Same thing up here. Do a nice round bar out here somewhere. Make it a rub rail. This has to be cut all the way up to the light. All of this needs to be cut in there. Just realized I'm rambling. Let's get the radiator in there and just start physically doing something. And again, guys, I am definitely sorry that I didn't film any of this, but you got to understand, you're paying for something. You want to get what you can out of it. I do feel like I robbed you guys a little bit, maybe a lot of bit, but these things happen in life. So call me a robber. Tell you what, guys, she's a little taller now. Good news. The radiator does not fit. Outstanding. This is an '89 Honda. How dare you? She just nibbled a little notch in the side of it. So let's see what that gets us. Yep. Okay. I need that to come out a lot easier than that. So, radiator fits. These radiators bolt in from this side, so we're going to get that bolted into place. So we've reached a part where we need to install our new washer bottle. This washer bottle that it comes with, I think I touched on this when I was taking the truck apart, sits inside the fender. Well, the wheel is going to take it out. Scab, Scarb. They make a Chinggis. So it's a little bottle instead of this big fella, but it's something. The thing is the factory harness has a washer telltale when it's empty or when it's not empty. So what I need to do is move this thing around, hit the plunger, pick it up, and see if it's open circuit when it's up or closed circuit when it's up. And that's going to tell me if I need to connect these wires or leave them separate so I don't have a warning light on my dash all the time. Let's figure it out. Sure, we got our little multi-schmeater on here. So, simple tone. Beep, beep. Let's get a pick. And what I'm going to do is slip this in its old buttocks. There's one there. There's one there. Okay, so... oh no, I can't reach it. Okay. So what if we do this? Okay, so it is open. Okay, so it's an open circuit when the little plunger's up. So if you didn't follow what I'm doing, guys, there's a level float in here. The level float's going to go up, and then what that does is it opens the circuit on these two wires, meaning nothing can flow through them. It's like cutting them. When it's the other way around, upside down, then it's connecting that circuit, putting these together, completing the circuit to the little light on the dash. That's good news, because what that means is, just like me, it's going to get snipped. TMI, bro. So, all done with that. Now we have a simple chingus here, and then we have our O-ring that came from that, and our factory Yoda pump that sits in there, and then our little clicky clicky, everything goes together, everybody's happy. So I'm going to get some lubrication, lube this little fella up. A little sill glide here. Ooh yeah. Get it good and gooey. Not too much. Just a lot. I gotta tell you, this reminds me of the time in Boy Scouts. Never mind. What I meant to say is, let's put this together now. Oh yeah. So that's in. See that? And then what this does is that goes in, and then that'll also create the seal even more. It pushes that rubber out. So again, throughout the directions already. Don't really need those. I'm assuming, you know what they say about assuming, make the enough of you and me. Okay. I see a lot of washers, some other things, and some things. So what I'm going to do, oops, I'm going to put these guys in here. I'll take it over to the car and see if that's right. I think it is. Most definitely. Okay, so we're going to want to put a washer on the plastic side, prevent breaking it. This thing looks super cheap, by the way, guys. I don't have high hopes of this thing making it for the long run. We'll see how that whole thing works out. It's important to use the incorrect size Allen head. It helps you from over torquing it. Alright, there we go. And then we will put this in it. Okay. And then I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut these at 2 different lengths. And then we'll put a little piece of heat shrinkage on there. Guys, you know what I'm talking about with shrinkage. Fire! Now, while this thing's piping hot, that's when you want to give it a good squeeze to seal it up. Yeah, and don't worry about when the glue gets on your fingers. It only burns for like 10 minutes. It's warm. There we go. That's sealed up. Now, pinching the tip, that's what happens, is it seals it up good. I know that's definitely not in focus, but you get the idea. So now we have a bracket that's going to bounce around and rattle against everything. That's exactly what we were hoping for. Oh, that even fits in there. Oh, that just got even cleaner, guys and girls and ladies. Look at that. Just tuck it inside of itself. Lone Ranger. Blue Chew. No Chew. Blue Chew. Blue Chew is not a sponsor of this, nor have I ever tried it, but I'll tell you what, if it gets that truck rocking hard, I'm liking it. I'm not retarded, but I like rocks. Alright, so we have some more washers, a bolt. Let's go see what kind of trouble we can get into with this stuff. So it's going to go in here. So I need to find my hose. We've got hose. Oh, we got hose. Okay, so that's that. We now have wires. Okay. So, put it in, take it out. Put it in, take it out. Why does that sound familiar? I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead. This guy's going to sit here and there. I think that's where that goes. And then it had a bolt in the net. Ooh la la. Girl, you so fancy. Let's pop this thing. Well, what do we got here? We got wires. Wires. Why? Why didn't I connect that when I had the opportunity? There we go. We'll just put that sideways like that. And then do this to that. Nope. I do not like that. I do not like Sam-I-am. Okay, well that's there for now. And by for now, I mean forever. Let's get this thing back into place here. Make sure she fits the way she wanted to before. Oh, it doesn't. Fits like shit, yes. Mm-hmm. Definitely doesn't quite have that Toyota fit anymore. Alright, we need a longer bolt. That one's not going to cut it. God, freaking idiot. Perfect. Perfect. There we go. Just snap some of the support off there. You're not going to need it after all. This is going to fall out eventually. Hopefully not, but let's be real. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Any Dage fans out there? No? Cool. Is anybody listening to me? Alright, there we go. So that's in. It's good enough. It's resting right on the shock tower. That'll be nice for transferring the vibrations to it. What do we have here? The tube. We need to modify the tube. Let me show you what's going on with that. A lot of this was intentional, guys, but some of it just worked out the way it needed to. My stock intake is still going to work. There is a little bit of screwery that has to be done to it, but there it goes. It's on. So one thing that was posing a problem is this guy. And I had it fixed. Now it's back. So yeah, so this guy here, the big vacuum box, but we found a way around it. So inside of this box, I was looking and it had a second layer to it. So I cut the box at that second layer. So that's all sealed off all the way into that neck. So what I'm going to do is fill this up with JB Weld before I head in for the night. And then I think I'm going to buy a new boot too, because this one's starting to crack. And if that cracks on the trail, that's not going to be good. So I'm going to get a new boot tomorrow for it. But for now, let's go pack its little bum with JB Weld. I don't have any JB Weld, and it's late. So, guess we'll do this tomorrow. See you guys. Whoa! We're back! Check it out. We got our JB Weld, and we got our box that we're going to stuff. Family channel, isn't it? Well, I don't really care. So, what I'm trying to do is seal this thing off completely so that I don't have anything going into that other side there. There we go. So we'll do that. That's nice. Yeah. Then no, and then we'll do what I like to call around the world. Pull that nice and tight like a tiger. There we go. Now we're going to pack its tuchus full of stuff that it doesn't want to be packed with. I'm going to use a little cap here. There we go, that's perfect. You can see it's packed up to the top there. I do need to be careful with this because the heat can cause the tape to let go. And that's not at all what I want to happen. So I'm going to watch this thing for a few minutes while that sets up. Looked into snorkels today for the truck because the intake tube comes up in the center of the fender. The problem is, Brody calls them dorkels, but they really are super dorky. And I know in Australia and stuff, they run them all the time because it helps to get the intake above the dust and all that. But I got to figure out a different way to do this because I can't have the intake in line with the tire throwing all the mud and everything right at it. So yeah, I got to figure out what exactly I'm going to be doing for the air intake. Maybe a custom snorkel might look a lot cooler, or maybe I'll cycle it back and put it in the engine compartment and breathe in that nice warm air because engines love hot air. This is all I'm doing for tonight. Here we go, guys. A couple days later. That's the finished product inside of it. It's JB Weld liquid, and it came out pretty good. So that's sealed up good. So we'll get that back on the car. We also got our new Toyota boot. So this is a factory boot, much more flexible. I don't have to worry about it tearing. So let's get that put on. Alright, so we got interrupted a little bit there. Brody showed up and we mocked up the hoses for the hydro, and here they are. Just took those down and got them crimped. So let's get back to the airbox, get that installed, because now we have homework. He's coming back over tomorrow. We're going to hook all this up. We got to do the cooler, we got to do some stuff. So let's get cruising. And I only have till noon, so let's go. So now we'll put our shave down box in here. That was a gasp of excitement it had there. There's that. Okay, so the air intake's in. Another thing we're going to button up in here is this. We no longer need vacuum supplied to our brake booster because we don't have that style anymore. So we will put a suck cap on there. So we got the air box in. Let's see if this closes, because we might have to cut this a little more radical there. No, plenty of room. So that clears like a champ, guys. It is going to vibrate on that. we'll deal with that later. Maybe I'll do some Velcro to hold it there. So this vacuum line goes to that. Make sure I get everything put back here. So there's that. So messing around over here, all I need to do is raise that and it'll mount back in its factory place. Chop the leg off and we don't have to modify that. That's going to be nice. So this is going in here. In this stage, guys, we're just trying to assemble as we disassemble, if that makes sense. And we got another vacuum line right here. That goes like this into that. It's no longer going to work that slick. Okay, so that goes to that box right there. Don't get offended, but I'm going to ditch you guys for a little bit. I'm going to try and get some stuff figured out because honestly my head's spinning. I don't know what I want to do first, and all I'm doing is just staring at things. So I'm going to get a little bit of shit done on this. When it comes time to, I know where something's going, we got to modify something, like when I put the cooler in here, I'll bring you guys along. But for right now, I'll see you guys in a bit.